Why do people lie when the truth would be easier? Why does one lie protect someone's feelings while another one destroys trust completely? And how can the same sentence be kindness in one situation and manipulation in another? Lying is not one behavior, it is a whole category of human shortcuts. People lie to escape punishment, protect their image, avoid awkwardness, gain control, or survive a moment they do not know how to handle. The tricky part is that most lies do not look dramatic, they look small. A compliment you do not mean, a missing detail, a story polished just enough to sound better. But every lie creates a second reality, and someone has to keep it alive. Some liars are trying to protect others, some are protecting themselves, and some are building a world where the truth cannot reach them anymore. That is where it starts. The white liar. The white liar tells small lies to soften reality. This is the person who says the haircut looks great, the dinner tastes amazing, or they are 5 minutes away when they just left the house. The goal is usually not control, it is comfort. A white lie tries to prevent embarrassment, hurt feelings, or unnecessary tension. In everyday life, it can act like social cushioning. Nobody wants every conversation to become brutally honest. If your friend is excited about a shirt they already bought, you might not choose that moment to say it looks terrible. But here is the catch. A white lie only feels harmless when it protects someone from pain they do not need. If it hides something they actually need to know, it stops being kindness and becomes avoidance. The white liar thinks they are keeping the peace, but sometimes they are just delaying an uncomfortable truth until it grows teeth. Small lies can grow roots. The people-pleaser liar. This liar lies because saying no feels dangerous. They agree when they disagree. They say they are fine when they are not. They promise to show up, help out, or support something they never actually wanted. On the surface, they seem easygoing. Underneath, they are trying to avoid disappointment, conflict, or rejection. Their lie is not always meant to fool you. Sometimes, it is meant to keep you from being upset with them. The mechanism is fear. The people-pleaser liar treats honesty like a social risk. They would rather betray their real feelings than deal with someone else's reaction. So they build a version of themselves that is always available, always agreeable, always okay. The problem is that resentment collects in the background. Eventually, they feel trapped by promises they made just to stay liked. Their lie sounds polite in the moment, but over time it teaches people to love a version of them that does not exist. Now the pressure shifts. The defensive liar. The defensive liar lies to escape consequences. This is the kid who says they did not break the lamp, the employee who says the file must have disappeared, or the partner who says they forgot when they actually avoided something on purpose. The lie appears when the truth feels like punishment. It is not about creating a better world. It is about dodging the one that is coming. Defensive lying is powered by panic. The brain sees blame, shame, or conflict ahead, and the lie becomes an emergency exit. For a few seconds it works. The pressure drops. The question goes away. The person feels safe again. But then the lie needs protection. Details have to match. Stories have to stay consistent. And if the truth comes out, the original mistake is no longer the only problem. Now there is the cover-up. Defensive liars often create bigger consequences by trying to escape smaller ones. The missing part matters. The omission liar. The omission liar does not always say something false. They just leave out the part that would change everything. They tell you where they went, but not who was there. They describe the deal, but skip the hidden cost. They say, "I never lied," because technically every word they said was true. That is what makes this type slippery. The deception is not in the sentence, it is in the gap. Omission works because people trust the shape of a story. When someone gives us enough details, we assume the important ones are included. The omission liar uses that trust. They let you reach the wrong conclusion, then act innocent because they never directly said it. This kind of lying can feel cleaner to the liar because they did not invent anything. But the effect can be just as damaging. When someone hides the detail that matters most, the truth becomes a maze with the exit removed. And then comes performance. The exaggerator. The exaggerator stretches reality to make life sound bigger, funnier, harder, or more impressive than it actually is. A normal workday becomes the most insane day ever. A small argument becomes a dramatic war. A casual conversation turns into a story where everyone clapped, gasped, or secretly admired them. The exaggerator may not see themselves as a liar. They see themselves as making the story better. The mechanism is attention. Plain reality feels too small, so they inflate it. Sometimes it is harmless entertainment. Everyone adds flavor to stories. But exaggeration becomes a problem when the person starts needing every event to prove something about them. They were the smartest, the funniest, the victim, the hero, the one who saw it all coming. Over time, people stop trusting their scale. Even when something serious happens, the listener wonders how much of it is real. The exaggerator adds volume to life until truth becomes background noise. Image is a hungry thing. The status liar. The status liar lies to look more successful, connected, experienced, or desirable. They know famous people they barely met. They make more money than they do. They pretend to understand topics they have never studied. Online, this type can become almost invisible because status is easy to stage. A rented car, a cropped photo, a confident caption, and suddenly a normal life looks like a brand. This liar is not just chasing attention, they are chasing identity. They want other people to treat them like the person they wish they were, and for a moment, it feels powerful. Respect arrives before achievement. Admiration arrives before honesty. But the trap is that fake status needs constant maintenance. Every new person becomes an audience. Every question becomes a threat. The status liar builds a taller version of themselves, then spends their life afraid someone will check the foundation. Now it gets darker. The manipulative liar. This liar uses false information to control what someone else thinks, feels, or does. They lie about what happened, they twist motives, they deny promises, they create confusion, then use that confusion as leverage. Unlike the defensive liar, who wants to escape pressure, the manipulative liar wants to direct the room. The lie is not a shield, it is a steering wheel. The mechanism is control over reality. If they can make you doubt your memory, question your judgment, or feel guilty for noticing the truth, they gain power. This can show up in relationships, workplaces, families, or friend groups. The manipulative liar often mixes truth with distortion, because a full lie is easier to catch. A half-truth is stickier. It sounds familiar enough to pass. The damage is not just that you believe something false, it is that you start trusting yourself less. That is when a lie becomes more than words. It becomes a cage. Repetition changes the brain. The habitual liar. The habitual liar lies so often that lying becomes their default setting. They lie about big things, small things, pointless things, even things that would not get them in trouble. Ask what they had for lunch, and somehow the answer gets upgraded. Ask why they are late, and suddenly traffic, phone issues, and a random emergency all appear at once. The strange part is that many habitual liars do not need the lie. They just reach for it automatically. This can start as a coping strategy. A person learns that lies create approval, avoid conflict, or make life feel easier. Then the shortcut turns into muscle memory. Truth starts to feel too plain, too exposed, too risky. The consequence is trust erosion. People may still talk to the habitual liar, laugh with them, even like them, but they quietly stop believing them. That is the lonely part. Habitual lying does not just damage reputation. It trains everyone around you to keep emotional distance. Then the line blurs. The compulsive liar. The compulsive liar feels driven to lie even when the lie creates no obvious benefit. This is different from simply being sneaky or selfish. It can look like a pattern that feels hard for the person to control, where the lie comes out before they fully think through why. Some versions are described as pathological lying, but that is not a label to throw at someone during an argument. It is a complex behavior pattern, not a quick insult. The compulsive liar may create dramatic stories, false achievements, fake crises, or strange details that collapse under basic questions. Sometimes the lies make them look better. Sometimes they make them look like victims. Sometimes they make no sense at all. The common thread is persistence. Reality keeps getting replaced, even when replacement makes life harder. The cost is enormous. Relationships become unstable, because nobody knows which version of events to stand on. The compulsive liar does not just lose other people's trust. They can lose the ability to live comfortably inside ordinary truth. But the deepest lie is inward. The self-deceiver. The self-deceiver lies to themselves first. They say they are not angry, while resentment leaks out everywhere. They say they can stop anytime, while the pattern keeps repeating. They say they are happy, while their whole life is built around avoiding one truth. This type is difficult, because there is no obvious villain. The person may genuinely believe the story they are telling. Self-deception protects identity. If the truth would force change, guilt, grief, or responsibility, the mind builds a softer version. That version feels safer. It lets someone keep the relationship, the habit, the excuse, or the dream, without facing what it costs. But self-deception has a quiet consequence. You cannot fix a problem you refuse to name. The lie becomes a room with no windows. From the inside, it feels like comfort. From the outside, everyone can see the walls closing in. And that is the final pattern. Every type of liar is trying to manage reality. Some do it to protect feelings, some do it to escape shame, some do it to gain power, some do it because truth feels too small, too painful, or too dangerous. But lies always create debt. Someone has to remember them, defend them, live inside them, or get hurt by them. The truth may be uncomfortable, but at least it does not need a bodyguard. The point is not to walk around calling everyone a liar. People are complicated, and most of us have told at least one lie because we were scared, embarrassed, overwhelmed, or trying to be nice. The real question is what the lie is doing. Is it protecting someone from pointless pain, or protecting the liar from accountability? Is it a one-time social cushion, or a pattern that keeps rewriting reality? In everyday life, this matters because trust is built in boring little moments. Showing up when you said you would, admitting when you forgot, saying, "I do not want to," instead of inventing an excuse. That stuff is not flashy, but it is what makes people feel safe around you. A good rule is simple. Pay less attention to how smooth someone sounds, and more attention to whether their words keep matching their actions over time. And do the same with yourself. The easiest lies to believe are usually the ones that protect our comfort. If this helped you see the difference between a small social lie and a real pattern, subscribe, and comment what broad topic you want explained next.